AI art is a fad that will probably get destroyed by 2027. Let's get it started. Let's start by ripping off the veil of marketing hype. AI art is sold as if it is worthless fun you can click for free, but the reality is that every generate click burns real resources. Every prompt engages dozens, hundreds of GPU cores, hundreds of watts of electricity, entire racks humming in air-conditioned warehouses. This isn't like Netflix streaming a video you've already encoded. Every image costs incremental compute. Every prompt is costing you real power. In 2026, data center electricity usage is already measured in national percentages of total grid load, and analysts expect that AI workloads, especially generative models, could grow into a massive portion of that consumption. Data centers alone were estimated to account for 4 to 6% of total electricity demand by 2026, and that's before you account for constant prompt generation and trading cycles. The software as a service model pushes free or cheap consumption, but that's a lie. Your server time is metered, your GPU hours are expensive, and every new user actually increases real costs. More electricity, more wear on expensive chips. These aren't economics of scale. Unlike Netflix, where adding users is mostly a distribution cost, generative AI art adds compute costs linearly or worse. You don't amortize fixed content costs. You pay new GPU cycles per user interaction. This isn't some democratization of art. It is a financial sinkhole being sold as a product. And here's the part that should infuriate an irrational board member: fiduciary duty. Corporate directors and executives are legally obligated to manage the company in the best interest of shareholders. They cannot just torch cash because some buzzword technology says creative future. Spending millions of dollars on GPUs, churning out millions of images that no one owns, monetizes, or can legally protect. That's blatant corporate negligence. Imagine this. You're running Fortune 500 company 2672. You're buying racks of $40,000 GPUs, paying millions upon millions of power bills, spinning up clusters to serve $20 subscriptions for users to generate images of cats or landscapes and whatnot. There is no reoccurring revenue stream beyond that subscription. There is no asset being built. You're not accruing AI. You're not creating licensed content. You're burning energy on moment-to-moment compute that vanishes the instant the image exists. That is corporate waste by any sensible accounting. Fiduciary law doesn't braid itself around slogans like AI innovation. It demands actual value creation. You cannot justify losses forever on the basis of future potential when you cannot own or monetize the output, and that's exactly the problem AI art presents. Now let's talk about what you could be doing with those same compute resources: real economic value. The GPUs currently used to spit out cute animal pics and sexy women aren't toys. They're the same chips used in high value computing like drug discovery, climate simulations, protein folding, which, mind you, won a Nobel Prize, material science, aerospace design, cryptography, defense systems. There is a bidding war for H100s and B200s at the moment at massive dollar figures because companies in high value industries compete for limited GPU supply. These chips can produce orders of magnitude more economic value per hour when used for simulation modeling or optimization when used for picture generation. In practical terms, one GPU hour used for high-value scientific simulation might generate thousands of dollars in direct inputs, while one GPU hour generating derivative art is cents. When you squander scarce computational resources on color gradients and fantasy landscapes, you are actively taxing the innovation ecosystem. You are choosing Instagram filters at global scale over drug candidates, climate models, financial technology, or the defense industry. It's a gross magnification of opportunity costs. And here's the legal dagger, or one of many legal daggers. In many jurisdictions, AI-generated output has ambiguous or non-existent copyright protection. Courts and regulators are still figuring this out. Some may even say that if humans didn't author it in the traditional sense, the work defaults in the public domain, which means that you cannot own the image, you cannot license the image to others exclusively, you cannot build franchises or derivative media that you can legally protect. Even in cases where copyright might attach, like a creative selection or combination done by a human user, the generated parts often remain legally fuzzy. So what is the point of paying for compute when the output cannot be protected the way the traditional creative properties can? No ownership means no escrows, no sublicensing, no royalties, no asset on the balance sheet. It means that your product may have been produced at cost, but has zero resale or legal value. We are digging a hole and pretending that the pile of dirt is company equity. Jeez, and it still gets worse. My throat is hurting, but let's talk about the worst case legal fallout, algorithmic disgorgement. If you train your model on copyrighted works without proper licenses, and many do, courts could order you to destroy everything derived from that unlawful process. We are not talking about minor fines. We are talking about model weights, algorithms, training data, inference code, gone. Some lawsuits explicitly seek destruction of infringing models and all derivatives. If a court determines your training process amounted to unlawful copying, they can order not just damages, but destruction of your competitive advantage. Legally speaking, that's a much harder penalty than a simple monetary fine. That's essentially company termination. This is real documented legal strategy being pursued in multiple jurisdictions by many legal firms. So if you don't just risk, copyright laws, you're risking losing the technology itself. And now we are getting into the newest Sentai series, Copyright Sentai Art Ranger. Yes, we have a multiversal Sentai team dedicated to punishing AI art overreach. Let's start this out. Anderson versus Stability AI in Midjourney. Artists sue generative AI platforms claiming infringement based on scrapings of billions of images without consent. Stability Art AI, Midjourney, and DeviantArt. New York Times versus Microsoft and OpenAI. New York Times alleges that its content was used unlawfully to train large models, seeking destruction of infringing models and statutory damages. My apologies. The copyright Voltron of Disney, Universal, and Warner Bros. Going against the Midjourney. Hollywood studios suing generative AI company for willful infringement of iconic characters and works, such as The Simpsons and Darth Vader. Getty Images versus Stability AI. Claims of unauthorized use of 12 million copyrighted images to train generative model. Authors Guild versus OpenAI. Authors suing for copyright harm via generative text and multi-model training. And then we have to go to goddamn Dow Jones and the New York Post versus Perplexity AI, a battle over the cannibalization of digital journalism, and Main Sequence AI et al. Versus Anthropic, a case involving the $1.5 billion preliminary settlement over pirated Books 3 data, which comes from Bartz versus Anthropic. Shout out Final Fantasy V. But anyway, every one of these cases sends the same message that if you build a product on scraped content without permission, courts can and will pursue damages, model destruction, statutory penalties, and strategic destruction of your competitive edge. This isn't theoretical. We're not in 2023 anymore. It's happening now. Where I'm arguing that AI art isn't just inefficient, it is an existential liability. It is software as a service billed as creativity when it's fundamentally compute waste, corporate fiduciary malpractice, resource misallocation, and legal landmines. It is a technology being sold faster than the law can catch up, and the law has caught up very hard. So yeah, AI art is fucking stupid, dude. Like, oh my god, they're so annoying. But yeah, that's like my economic take and all that. You can obviously disagree with me, and if you do disagree with me, be sure to dislike the video and drop a comment down below. Argue with some motherfuckers, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks!